It's so easy to forget that certain players also tasted championship glory before they made it to the pros.
Far side, intercepted. This one by P.J. Williams.
For a variety of reasons, be it an underwhelming NFL career or the fact that they weren't used much in the national championship title season, here are 10 active NFL players that you totally forgot won a college football national championship. Noah Brown. The former Ohio State standout enjoyed a career year for the Dallas Cowboys in 2022, developing into the team's number 2 wideout behind CeeDee Lamb following Amari Cooper's departure. But Brown, a 2017 7th-round pick, is another case of better late than never. Prior to 2022, he may not have been the most well-known receiver outside of Dallas, but fans of the Ohio State Buckeyes will remember his name. Brown was on the 2014 Buckeyes national championship winning squad under Urban Meyer that dominated the Oregon Ducks 42-20 in the big game. Just how stacked was the offense on that 2014 Buckeyes team? Oh, they only had the likes of Paris Campbell, Taylor Decker, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Curtis Samuel. Brown saw very limited action in his first year with the Buckeyes. He finally enjoyed more playing time in his swan song collegiate season in 2016 though, catching 32 passes for 402 yards and 7 touchdowns. Kenyon Drake. The speedy journeyman running back won not one, but 2 national championships in his tenure with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Drake saw brief action in his first season with Alabama in 2012. Drake and the 2012 Crimson Tide won the 2012 national championship, easily defeating Notre Dame in the Big Dance. The Powder Springs, Georgia native was also on the 2015 Crimson Tide squad that defeated Clemson in the national championship game. That would be Drake's final college game as he entered the 2016 draft and went 73rd overall to the Miami Dolphins. Drake has been a mostly serviceable number 2 running back in the NFL. Of course, his career-defining moment will always be the Miami Miracle walk-off TD for the Dolphins against the New England Patriots back in 2018. Wonder if head coach Nick Saban taught him how to do that. Amari Rogers. The Green Bay Packers kind of made their fans happy when they drafted Clemson wideout Amari Rogers in round 3, 85th overall in 2021. This organization's tradition of never taking a wide receiver in round 1 has been well documented after all. Unfortunately, it just never worked out for Rogers in Green Bay. The guy didn't even last 2 years with the franchise. It's easy to forget now, but Rogers was actually once a star wide receiver at Clemson. He and Trevor Lawrence were a dynamic duo, leading the 2018 Tigers to a stunning 44-16 blowout win over Alabama in the national championship game. On that 2018 Tigers squad, Rogers finished the year with 55 receptions for 575 yards and 4 touchdowns. They got back to the national championship game the following year, but the Tigers were no match for Joe Burrow and LSU, who throttled Clemson in the big game. Rogers earned first-team All-SEC honors in his final year of college in 2020, recording 77 receptions for 1,020 yards and 7 touchdowns. The Packers wound up releasing Rogers in the midst of the 2021 season due to his fumbling issues on special team returns, and he was subsequently picked up by the Houston Texans. P.J. Williams. It feels like Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, or LSU won every national championship from 2010 to 2020. But that wasn't actually the case, of course. You may not know this, kids, but the Florida State Seminoles were actually national champions way back when in the 2013 season. That team consisted of 2015 first overall pick Jameis Winston, veteran New Orleans Saints defensive back P.J. Williams, future Hall of Famer Jalen Ramsey, and other, oh yeah, I remember him fellas, like Kelvin Benjamin, Telvin Smith, Devontae Freeman, Cameron Irving, and LaMarcus Joyner. Williams saw limited playing time in his first season with Florida State, but grew into a playmaker in year 2, recording 3 interceptions and 7 pass defenses. Williams and the Seminoles went on to defeat the Auburn Tigers 34-31 to claim the national championship. Williams was named the defensive MVP of the Seminoles championship game victory. Williams then followed that up with another productive season in 2014, recording an interception and 10 pass defenses. The Seminoles would lose to the Oregon Ducks in the Rose Bowl in what would be Williams' final NCAA game. He later entered the 2015 NFL draft and was taken in the 3rd round, 78th overall by New Orleans. Williams slowly but surely grew into a reliable defensive back for the Saints, rounding out a dangerous group alongside Marshawn Lattimore, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and Marcus Williams, who both have since left the organization. Wayne Gallman. Gallman is perhaps best known among NFL fans for taking over briefly as the New York Giants RB1 in the 2020 season following Saquon Barkley's season-ending ACL tear. But back in the day, Gallman was a star running back for the Clemson Tigers from 2014 to 2016, racking up 3,416 rushing yards and 34 touchdowns over his 3 seasons there. This included an incredible 2015 campaign in which he rushed for 1,514 yards and 13 touchdowns. Gallman and the 2016 Tigers defeated the dynastic Crimson Tide in the waning seconds of the 2016 national championship. If not for Gallman, perhaps the Tigers never even go on to win the national title in the first place. He was that much of a special contributor on one of the greatest college teams of the 2010s. Von Bell. Bell has enjoyed a stellar career as a safety for both the New Orleans Saints and the Cincinnati Bengals. Ohio State fans will happily recount the memories of the 2014 season, in which he played a pivotal role in helping them win the championship. Bell played for the Buckeyes from 2013 to 2015, recording 175 total tackles, 1 sack, 9 interceptions, and 15 pass defenses over those 3 years. His best season was the Buckeyes' 2014 national championship season, in which Bell racked up 6 interceptions and as many pass defenses. As previously mentioned, the 2014 Buckeyes soundly defeated Oregon in the national championship game. It was Bell's teammate, safety Tyvis Powell, who won defensive MVP honors. Aside from winning the national championship, Bell earned first-team All-American and first-team All-Big Ten nods in 2015. The Saints drafted him in round 2, 61st overall in the 2016 draft. Bell then signed with the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020 free agency. Along with fellow standout safety Jesse Bates, Bell helped the Bengals enjoy an unexpected turnaround in 2021, helping them to Super Bowl 56, where they barely fell to the Los Angeles Rams. Bobby Hart. Another NFL journeyman, Hart was a key blocker for Jameis Winston and the Florida State Seminoles during their run of success in the first half of the 2010s decade. Hart played for the Seminoles from 2011 to 2015, using his mammoth 6'5" frame to truck over opposing defensive linemen. Hart, who was on the 2013 national championship team, earned third-team All-SEC honors for the 2014 season. Hart was drafted in the 7th round, 226th overall by the New York Giants in the 2015 draft. Hart spent his first 3 seasons with Big Blue before eventually joining the Bengals, with whom he suited up for from 2018 to 2020. Hart has since struggled to find a long-term home, mostly bouncing around on practice squad rosters, though he did see some playing time for a banged-up Tennessee Titans club in the 2021 season. Brian Robinson Jr. Robinson Jr. is one of the greatest stories that every NFL fan should root for. The Alabama product tuned in a phenomenal rookie season for the Washington Commanders after a scary robbery incident in which he was shot in the knee by a mugger. Fortunately, he made a pretty quick recovery and was released from the hospital the very next day. Of course, not every star in college, even the ones who come out of the prestigious Alabama program, can succeed at the NFL level. But Robinson Jr., a 2-time national champion, has displayed all the makings of a future NFL star. Robinson Jr. was one of the 4 future stud NFL running backs on that 2017 Alabama roster. The others? Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, and Damian Harris. Oh, and their QBs were Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. And their receivers were Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and DeVonta Smith. Yeah, unfair. We know. Robinson Jr. saw little playing time in his first season at Alabama, recording 165 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Alabama went on to defeat Georgia in the national championship game, with Tagovailoa throwing the game-winning TD to DeVonta Smith. Robinson Jr. would spend 4 more seasons at Alabama, also winning a national championship with the 2020 squad. That squad soundly defeated Ohio State 52-24 in the big game. In his final season at Alabama, Robinson Jr. racked up 1,343 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns. He was drafted in the 3rd round, 98th overall, by the Commanders in 2022. Grant Delpit. Among all active NFL defensive players, few of them had a college resume as successful as that of Grant Delpit's. The former LSU star won the Jack Tatum Trophy and Jim Thorpe in 2018 and 2019 respectively. Delpit also earned consensus All-American and first-team All-SEC selections in the 2018 and 2019 seasons. And yeah, he was on the 2019 LSU squad that crushed the Trevor Lawrence-led Clemson Tigers in the national championship. Delpit was on a stacked LSU team that was loaded with future NFLers, namely Patrick Queen, Derek Stingley Jr., Christian Fulton, and K'Lavon Chaisson. Throw in the unfair offense, which consisted of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and it is no wonder these Tigers went down as one of the absolute greatest teams in NCAA history. In his final college season with the Tigers, Delpit racked up 4.5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, even though he's a safety, 2 interceptions, and 9 pass defenses. The Cleveland Browns drafted Delpit in the 2nd round, 44th overall in 2020. Unfortunately, Delpit suffered a torn Achilles tendon in training camp and had to miss his entire rookie year. That year, the Browns ended an 18-year playoff drought and got as far as the AFC Divisional Round game, where they fell to the Kansas City Chiefs. A healthy Delpit has since become a steady presence in the Browns secondary. No surprise, considering how much he starred on the collegiate level, especially in the big moments when LSU needed them most. A'Shawn Robinson. It's difficult to keep track of all the Alabama studs who turned professional, so it's easy to forget about guys like A'Shawn Robinson, who also won national championships with the Crimson Tide. Robinson played for the Crimson Tide from 2013 to 2015. He racked up 22 sacks and 5 pass defenses. The standout defensive lineman played on the aforementioned 2015 Alabama team that defeated Clemson in the 2016 national championship game. It was Robinson's teammate Eddie Jackson who won defensive MVP honors in that game. That absolutely loaded Alabama defense also featured Marlon Humphrey, Jonathan Allen, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Cyrus Jones. The Detroit Lions drafted Robinson in the second round, 46th overall in 2016. The 2015 Consensus All-American accomplished the double whammy by winning a Super Bowl 56 championship ring with the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, that's right, Robinson is a national champion and a Super Bowl champion. How many guys have accomplished that again? But what other active NFL players do fans often forget played for a national championship winning team in the NCAA? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.